All right, welcome to my first OnShape video. These are unscripted, unedited, and unrehearsed videos. A reason being is if I wrote the script, I would have not time to make the video. If I rehearsed, I would max out my free recordings using this software because I've only got the free version. And the free version also limits my editing ability. I suppose there's probably a way to download and edit and everything else. However, I don't get to edit my teaching in the moment, so I'm just going to pretend I'm teaching in the moment and go from there. The amount of time it would take for me to edit it to perfection would probably take most of my summer or something. I don't know. Anyways, unscripted, unedited, unrehearsed. Improvisational OnShape instruction. Here we go. What I want you to do is pretend you are a baker and you are about to make a donut. All right. Where the way you make that donut is unlike any way you know currently in this world. In the world that you're baking this donut in, you get to make like a cookie cutter disc of flour and then get it to grow around into a donut. So let's get that cookie cutter circle and then make it grow. Create a document. Title it your favorite donut. I like glazed donuts. Really, I'm not that crazy about donuts. I would rather just eat ice cream for breakfast. I mean, probably the same amount of sugar content, and there's not that much into baked goods. Anyways, if I were check, you've only got so much recording time with this free stuff, so get it together. Select your front plane and hit the sketch button up here in the upper left-hand part of OnShape. You got your front plane selected. Select sketch. All right, come over here to your dice and click on front. That way you're looking straight at it. Boom, two-dimensional. You want to be looking right at that. You've got sketch one started. You're in the front plane. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to draw a line. Now you can click this line button, okay? And notice that I'm pointing at the screen because you can see the screen and where my finger's pointing. I'm getting used to this. The line button's on. It's turned on, meaning it's going to continue drawing lines until you turn it off. We only want one line. So we're going to draw that line and just immediately turn that button off. So line, start it at the origin, vertical line. There we go. If you keep going, like I said, the line button's turned on. Just go over and turn it off. One line, that's all we want. You've got that one line. Now you're going to draw a circle. Same thing as before, the button's turned on, so it will keep drawing circles. If I was to click again and again and again, but we just want one circle. So I'm going to go back and turn the circle button off. All right, right now, that flour, that piece of cookie cutter flour, it can grow, it can shrink, it can move all across our baker's countertop, and we do not want that. We want it to be a cookie cutter specific size, meaning we've cut it with the cookie cutter. It won't really grow or shrink once we've done that. So let's use that cookie cutter. You're going to come up here and turn the dimension button on. The switch is on, so it'll dimension for as long as you're clicking around with that button on. We want to get the diameter of the circle, so click it and type in 0.75 or 3/4, and now our cookie cutter has worked. We cannot shrink this. However, it will still move all around the countertop. Well, turn the dimension button off, barber check. All right. It'll move all across the countertop, but it will not grow. It will not shrink. So let's lock it in place because we want it in one spot. So go to the center point. Go to the line. Turn on dimension. Do what I just said. Go to the center point. Go to the line. Now you can dimension the distance. It has to be from that line. Enter 1. Boom. All right, now it is mandated that circle has to be 1 inch away. It can move up and down. I turn the dimension button off, and now I can move it. But it cannot move left to right. I just can't make that happen. Now what we want to do is we want to keep it from moving up and down as well. Now, I want you to pay attention to the change that circle is going to make once I do this, and tell me if you can figure out what is different about it once I do this. Hit the dimension button is turned on, center of the circle again. This time, let's go to the origin, and we're going to say, hey, you have to be this far away from the origin. Make that 0.6. Okay, what do you notice that's different about this circle than before? Let me just undo it and redo it. What changed? It went from blue to black. We want black sketches. The black sketches mean, hey, this piece of flower has all the rules it needs to know to follow. It won't break any of the rules. It's locked in place. It won't change on you or catch you by surprise by changing. Got to have your sketches black. Every now and then you might need an undefined sketch, but it's like 0.1%. So that black circle, we want our sketches black. Now, let's go ahead and revolve this. You're going to click this thing that looks like a donut up here. Funny. All right. Then in that window, revolve one window, are two windows. Okay. The blue window is the one that's active. I'm going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Basically, this top window is asking me, what do you want to revolve, Barber? Check. And I want to revolve that cookie cutter piece of flower that we have. So I've got this circle selected. Okay. And actually it was already selected. What I did was unselect it. So make sure it says something in here besides faces and sketch regions to revolve. If I click that, it says face of sketch 1. That circle gets a little halo around it, which means it's the chosen one. All right. Now the revolve axis. This is you got that disc. All right. And it needs to grow like this. And it needs something to know that it's its center point. So it knows whether it needs to grow like this, or it knows whether it needs to grow like this, or it needs an axis. It needs something to rotate around. You're going to select this line as the axis that you drew. Boom, you have a donut. All right, two more things I want to show you. Let's say you want a bigger donut. You're hungry. Go back in your sketch. You're going to grab the bigger cookie cutter from your drawer. You're going to grab the 1-inch one. Simply double click that. 0.75, enter 1. Awesome. We now have a bigger donut. Okay, second thing I want to show you. Notice that vertical axis we drew is really not part of the final product. It has nothing to do with the actual tangible donut. It has a lot to do with how that donut created itself, but we don't see it. We don't interact with it in its physical space. It's a different type of geometry. The donut's the actual geometry. The axis is what we would call reference geometry, meaning it's geometry that's useful to making the part, but it's really not part of the final product. And we want to differentiate between those two types of geometry. If we don't, it can get very confusing. And if we do, it just helps keep the confusion at bay. So let me show you how to do that as well. We're going to go back and double click on sketch 1 so that we can edit it. And what I'm going to do is click that vertical line, and I'm going to change it to construction. Okay, that's this button right here. And what that does is make it dotted so that I know, you know, your partners know, anybody who's working on this document knows, hey, this is a useful piece of geometry, but it's not part of the final product. So hit check and have this donut. Call me over. I'm going to be checking that your donut is 1 inch thick. I'm going to be checking that your sketch is black, and I'm going to be checking that your axis is a construction line. So do me a favor and go through that checklist before you call me over. Barber check yourself before you barber wreck yourself. Is your sketch black? Is your donut 1 inch thick? And is your axis a construction line? Thank you for following along, and we will have more videos to come. Also unrehearsed, unscripted, and unedited. How do I turn this thing off? Man, I hope the free version doesn't count minutes. Let's see, there's this button. Hey. I had a good sign out, so I forgot how to turn this off, or didn't know. Well, here's my sign out. There is a recording limit on this, and I've got 22 seconds left. Part of me feels obligated to use up that 22 seconds, just because it's there. Now that I'm right on the edge. Do you know that my birthday's on St. Patrick's Day? There. How about that for a sign out? See ya.